And get recording. Cool, it's recorded. So, action. This is Isaac Tolpin. Isaac is a big mentor of mine. He's been a coach as well of mine for the past 4 months, and I very much appreciated it. I respect him a ton with his faith and his family, everything he's done in business. He's had multiple companies. He has a podcast now on parenting. He's, hopefully I get it right, but essentially kind of co-founded Web PDI and Conveyor and some other companies. And also he was the best division manager for a stint of time where right now he'd be number one by a landslide. But 4 years in a row, basically did over $40 million in business as a division. So averaging about 10 million a year. And that's where, our pursuit is as we're new and growing. And he's helped me out a ton with culture and CVI and just understanding how to really get a group of people and a business moving in a certain direction. So I credit, much of our success as well so far to kick things off in the couple months it's been with him and his leadership. So I asked him just, of course, his time is limited. So just, 20 minutes or so of, however you want to, whatever direction you want to take it, Isaac, but essentially on CVI, the importance of it, how we can use it to better our businesses and our lives and working with people. So, Isaac, you can take it away, and thank you so much for your time here.
Yeah, so great to be here, everybody. I'm happy to share with you about the CVI leadership and sales and, how that impacts things. It's a really big deal. And when I was in Cutco as a division manager, we use this throughout our division from salespeople to managers and so forth. And it helped us go from 5 to 10 million and break that barrier. So it really is a big key. And I'm glad that you guys are using it. So that's great. Jason, for some reason, the share functionality disappeared on the Zoom. So I'm not sure why that is.
Let me see. I wonder, so I can still share it on my end. I wonder if it's because we are recording. I wonder.
That could be.
Can we switch hosts?
So you can, I emailed you the document, so you could put it up there and share it if you want.
Yeah, does that work?
That works.
Okay, cool. Let's do that then.
Yep. So what Jason is about to put up is the CVI key, and that is a good visual representation, which will help me to help you understand it in a very short period of time. What we're going to cover in a short period of time, you could spend, 3 hours in great detail. The reason the CVI is so powerful is because it has a 94% repeat score reliability, meaning if someone takes it today and then takes it again 4 years from now, there's going to be almost an identical score output of who you are. And that is much different. There you go. Perfect. That is much different than many other assessments out there. It was invented by Lynn Taylor. Lynn Taylor trained me in the CVI when I was a division manager. I got all that training and to basically be able to grow my division in a bigger way. So what you have is the 4 quadrants right here. This is a simplified view of the CVI, which I love because I love starting simple. And if someone becomes more interested, they can just dig in and learn a lot more. But it is more complex than the simplicity of the look right here. But what's great is you don't have to understand everything about it to get incredible value from it. Okay, so I'm going to start with just a few rules, which is, first of all, you can only be in one core value at a time. So in real leadership happens, real influence happens when someone stays in their dominant core value long enough for everybody else to follow. And so one of the mistakes in leadership or influence even in sales is that we shift too fast around in different core values and don't stay long enough until people follow our lead. Another mistake, though, can be that we stay too long when our core value energy is not working, our dominant one. And if we stay too long, we go to the dark side and we start going to the negative aspect of our core value energy, even though we believe we're still in it in a pure way. So we're deceived and everybody else around us can feel it, but and we stay too long. So one of the genius things you can do is start to understand who you are so you can optimize who you are so that you have maximum impact of the people around you, whether it's one-to-one in a sales situation, whether you're in leadership and you're speaking to an entire group, whatever the case may be. It's really important to do that. And another rule is if you honor first the dominant core value of another person in communication, you are getting maximum receptiveness of whatever you're trying to talk about. So if you can start to learn the core value nature of other people without them even taking the assessment, and honor that core value nature first. This is not in a manipulative sense. This is in a pure, I want to be able to effectively communicate with somebody. And it's kind of the same thing as if you treat others how you want to be treated, you have the maximum impact. Well, here's just a more precise way to do that age-old philosophy, which is to understand how people are made. Obviously, I'm a faith-based guy. I believe every single person is perfectly, uniquely knit by God. You can disagree with that if you want. That's totally fine, but that's what I believe. And what's interesting, even though the CVI is not a faith-based tool, I do believe that it is showing aspects of people that are very, very unique. Now, what's also important is not to label people. We don't want to use a tool like this to start labeling people and go, oh, that's just because they're this, or that's because they're that. That would be a misuse of understanding assessments. And but this is really just to help people. Anything can be good or bad, right? Alcohol in excess can be a bad thing for people, but in moderation could be a good thing or an okay thing. And it's just the same thing with anything. So we don't want to use a good tool in a bad way. But if you use it in a good way, it's amazing for everybody. And that's the goal here. So what you have is this core value matrix here, and you have these 4 types. Now, what's interesting is everybody has part of all 4. So what's also interesting about this is it really shows how we are designed to need other people. And so if we're going down a road of not getting help, of being too independent, then we're not leveraging how God designed things, which is nobody's perfect. Everybody needs somebody else because we all have strengths and weaknesses. And so I love that because, a team does better than just a single person. One of the key things for my family, I'm a very family-oriented guy. I have 8 kids. One of the key things for this year in my family is we versus me. And I just launched that this year, and I thought Jason would appreciate that too because he prescribes to that too kind of philosophy, which is, we are stronger than just me and having a selfish focus. So let's start with the merchant core value energy, which is love. So you see that in the top right there. And love is the core value. We call them merchants. And the reason we use the word merchant is because in the old days, merchants were the traders on ships, and they made things happen through relationships and vision and taking action in relationship with people. So that's where the word merchant comes from and why it's labeled this way. But the core value is actually called love. And this is not a wimpy love. This is not a touchy-feely love. This is not a doormat love or where someone just allows other people to walk on them. This is a pure love of working towards an inspired vision of what can be by nurturing the core values in oneself and in others. It is great for leadership. Of course, all the core values can be great for leadership. So not just love, but it is great for leadership because it really is sensitive to the needs of other people. And this is somebody in their most mature state is really good at delivering the truth to people that they need, even if they don't want to hear it. And they're able to deliver it in a way that people will be receptive of it. So they're really, really good at that. They're visionaries. They're often talkative. They love being around people. They often get energy from being around people and communicating in relationship. It's catalyzed by truth. Now, the catalytic values are really important because if the catalytic value is being honored in relationship with other people, then they stay in the presence of that love energy, okay? If that catalytic value is not being honored by other people, at some point, they're going to start feeling anxiety. And pretty soon, if they stay in the core value of love and it's not working because truth isn't being honored and their anxiety starting to feel inside, they might get flushed, they might have nervous tics, they might feel embarrassed, these kinds of things. If that's happening to them and they stay in this core value, what starts to happen is truth is deteriorating and they go to the dark side. And their conflict strategy, as you can see in the bottom right, is manipulate. So when someone is a love person, they're dominant, their score, CVI score, is highest in love, and they're in a situation where truth isn't present, meaning that somebody's lying to them, somebody is dishonoring the relationship, somebody didn't text. It could be as simple as somebody did not text me back within 2 hours. So real quick, the power people over here on the top right, top left, they will be known to not text people right back. Okay? The love people really want everybody to text them within 5 minutes. And if within 5 minutes they don't get a text message back, they're like, what's going on? Is something wrong with the relationship? I can't understand this. I mean, I can't believe it. Why wouldn't they text me back? And an hour goes by, 2 hours goes by, 3 hours goes by. Pretty soon it's like, what's the deal? I thought we were friends. Now, I am exaggerating a little bit, but there is a truth of that feeling inside. And so if we're going to honor everybody, those power people need to text people back, right? That's the goal, okay? So let's go back. We'll talk about the power people in a little bit later. But, and by the way, I am one of those power people and love people. Those are my top two. So what you have here is this love core value catalyzed by truth. And if they go to the dark side, they're manipulating. Here is the problem. Your deepest fear is being the opposite of your core value. So the love people, their deepest fear would be, what's the opposite of love, everybody? Hate. There you go. So their deepest fear is to be hateful or to be perceived as being someone that hates somebody or is in that state. And so, but that's exactly where they go. They start being manipulative and clever, and their response to people, exaggerating, lying. You know who the biggest liars in the world are? Well, the potential for it are the love people. And why do they lie when they value that so much? They value the truth. So why would they lie? Well, because I care so much about relationships, I'm willing to lie to keep them. It's really interesting, isn't it? But it also spins somebody into the negative state. Now, just because someone's a merchant first, does that mean they're a liar? Not at all. Okay? Not at all. We're talking about propensity towards negative things, though. And that is something that can happen. What's really important for them is to be having nurtured relationships, knowing where they stand in relationship with other people, and valuing those things so they don't go into that manipulative state. Contributions to a team, there's a couple here, relationships and vision, but they also can be risk takers. They can take a risk, they can cast a vision, but a challenge with them also can be that they cast a vision, then they change a vision. Have you ever been in an organization where you feel like the vision is always changing? You hear that in churches a lot, actually. And you hear that, wow, we're going this way, then we're going that way, and then we're going another way. Well, it's because how do merchants learn? They learn through talking things out. And if they talk too many things out, sometimes that can be confusing to other core value types. So let me just pause for a second. Is everybody tracking with me? How are we doing?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so in a sales situation, if you can pick up that your customer is a merchant, honoring their dominant core value first is amazing. And how would you honor that? You let them talk. You nurture a relationship. You match their warmth, right? And relationally. And a lot of you, because you're successful, you naturally do this. But now you're knowing the why behind it, which is really cool. Okay, let's go to the innovator on the bottom here. We're gonna do power last. I always like to do the one I'm dominant in last. So the innovator is the core value. Here we go. Is wisdom, and wisdom is observant. They can stay unemotional for a really long time. In fact, when somebody's is in their wisdom and they're dominant in that, they can stay completely unemotional in a crisis. And another person that can sit and think and ponder and find solutions. And they stay quiet long enough to look at all the details, all the complexity of things, and make sense of it to the world. And if you rush somebody who's a wisdom person to decision, interrupt their thinking process, force them to come up with a solution faster than them thinking of all the possibilities, you are hurting relationship with them. You're hurting communication with them. The way to value them is give them time to do that, but then listen to their solutions, because they have gone through all kinds of thinking processes to come up with a good solution. These are the innovators in the world, right? So that wisdom, they may not be as talkative in a meeting and so forth, but when they speak, everybody tends to listen to those people because the value of what they say is so well thought out, and they make connections other people can't make, and they bring that to the world. However, if they get dismissed, if what they said gets dismissed, that can spin them really quickly into their negative conflict strategy, because wisdom is catalyzed by compassion, and compassion for their ideas, compassion for their process of coming up with solutions has to be there for them to stay in the positive presence of their wisdom core value. So the merchant energy and the builder energy up top can be at odds with the wisdom people, because the builder and the merchant people are quick, but they won't think through everything. They'll just take action. They'll say things quickly, and the wisdom people are still processing. And a lot of times the wisdom people get overran by the merchant and the builders. But if we learn to tap into the people that are high in wisdom, I love having those people around me, because they come up with great solutions. They come up with great designs. They can be very creative too. It's a very creative energy. It can be, okay? So that's really important. Now, their conflict strategies is interrogation. These are the most clever people in their conflict strategy. They will look like they're being positive, and they're really being very, very negative. So if their ideas aren't listened to, guess what they start to do? They start sabotaging everybody else's ideas. But they do it in such a clever way, it makes them look smart still, and they sabotage everybody else's ideas with evidence, and it disrupts forward movement of anything the group's trying to do. But they actually look smart. Okay? Does anybody know anybody like that? So it's interesting. They can be if you don't honor them, they can be so disruptive to trying to accomplish anything if it's in a group setting. And that's really important. So you want to make sure your wisdom people are honored, and by listening to them, asking for their opinion, waiting for them. But for a merchant or a builder, the wait time of waiting for their response can feel like an eternity. Have you ever been in if anybody's that merchant energy or that builder energy up top, and you've been in a conversation with somebody and they don't respond for a while, and there's that, like, I don't know, 10 seconds of silence. 10 seconds of silence for you merchant builders seems like an eternity. So in communication, if you start talking next and you're a merchant builder and somebody was thinking, you think you're saving the day because there was silence. Silence is a beautiful thing to the wisdom people. Like, let there be more silence. There was a famous quote, like, what is it? You talk so much, I can't hear anything you say. It's said a little differently than that. Can't remember what it is, but that's by like an innovator. It's like, you have to have understanding. We have to wait. And so sometimes you'll think people are really slow sometimes that you're talking to, and they're really wisdom people. In a sales situation, this is where Cutco people destroy customers. Okay. If you have a customer and you ask for the order, okay, and they are just thinking, I mean, you guys know this is taught in Vector, but here's the why behind it. If they're thinking and they're thinking for a long time, if you speak first, you killed the sale. If that's a wisdom person and you disrupt their thinking process, you're killing yourself. But you're like heart's pounding, you're thinking about it. This is a $2,000 order, whatever. You're like, maybe I need to say something. Okay, well, that's the why behind it. I know you know that truth, but that's the why behind it with wisdom people in that setting. Also in leadership development, if you're developing leaders, letting those people process things for a while is crucial. Okay. Also, it's really important to value people in Cutco, where we say, often there's a Cutco approach to follow the program in certain areas. And while somebody's new, that is true. But to really embrace the wisdom people is let them be clever and come up with their ways of doing it that match who they are. And I had to learn that, and really unleashing wisdom in my division was a breakthrough thing. And my district managers allowing wisdom to come and people to do things their own way a little bit, really valued those people, and we retain them. We retain more people. Okay. Let's switch to the knowledge now. For time, I'm going pretty quick, but I'm just giving you a gist here.
Thank you, Isaac. This is great.
Yeah, good.
We're getting there.
So, yeah, no problem. No problem. So bankers. The reason the name is used banker is because this is back in ancient time, but bankers were the people after everybody was at the fire pit before electricity. Okay, so when everybody was at the fire pit and they're all spending time together, you have all different kinds of people. The bankers were the people that would stay afterwards after everybody left, because they wanted to preserve the coals in the fire so that they would stay lit for morning. So they would bank what's called banking. I think it's banking the fire, banking the coals, and pushing them together so that they would stay lit from their own, energy. So that's where the word banker comes from. It's not like a banker running a bank or something like that. Okay, and the reason that makes sense is because the core value is knowledge, knowing the facts, the research, measurement, proof, and records. There's an example of this in the Book of Eli. It's a movie. Anybody seen the Book of Eli? It's an old movie now, but Denzel Washington.
Oh, come on now.
Okay, yeah. And the gist of the movie is Denzel Washington in the movie has got to be a builder. Okay, so he's that power person, and he just kills everybody gets in his way. And he's on a mission. Okay, there's like no messing with Denzel Washington in this book. It's end times. The world's been destroyed. And his mission, you don't know it for a lot of the movie, but since it's old, I'll ruin the movie for you. Okay, his mission is to get the last physical Bible to a place where there's this banker with gray hair who is preserving all the greatest works of our time. And his job is to get this book, the Bible, the last one, to the banker, so that banker can preserve the knowledge. And it's just, I love that example, because here's a power person kind of working for the banker for the good of humanity. So knowledge, they love all the facts through research, measurement, proof, and records. They will be the person, if you have an accountant, likely they're a banker, or they have high banker in them. And the way, if you're a merchant or builder, the way you drive these people crazy is be disorganized, don't have your stuff together, waste their time, don't listen to their advice, the knowledge they gave them. That's really important, because the catalytic value is justice. And justice is that my knowledge is valuable, and if you don't use it, there's a sense of a lack of justice in that. It also is that justice should be served. People should follow the rules. Things should be done correctly. We should not move too fast. It's a conserving energy that slows things down. A lot of times chief operating officers will have a high banker energy in companies because they slow things down. They give knowledge so the other executives can make great decisions. Very, very important energy. It's ensuring the equity of access and accountability and compensation and opportunity. Okay, they really care about people in terms of everything's fair. People are fairly compensated, people are treated properly, all of these kinds of things. When justice is disappearing, they go into aloof judgment. They throw their hands up in the air and they go, good luck. Without my information, you're going to fail. Not always true, but that's how they feel. Okay. So in a meeting, they are the ones that are always prepared. They bring extra information. They have their stuff dialed in and they bring it. The way we destroy these people and their core value, if we're a love or power person, is if we ask for people to bring something and we don't ever use it. If we ask someone to prepare something and we don't make better decisions because of it. So it's really important. I had to learn this because I'm a power person, then love second, and then wisdom third. I'm lowest. This is my lowest one. So I really had to learn whatever you're lowest in, you've got to learn how to value that energy because you alienate the heck out of those people. And if that's a quarter of our population, if that's a quarter of your sales prospects or a quarter of your development candidates, you are killing yourself. We want to attract more sales, more people to our business. And the way you do that is to look at the one you're lowest in and go, I need to study that one. What do we naturally want to study? Oh, I'm a power person. I want to learn everything about the power energy. No. Yeah, you want to learn that for sure. But you also equally need to learn the one you're lowest in because you never go there most likely. Okay? And you might have some negative attitudes about it. I had negative attitudes about the banker energy until I learned about this. And I used to think, oh, they constantly slowing things down. We just need to get it done instead of look at all the information first. Whereas I've made some major mistakes in business because I did not look and pay attention and understand the knowledge. And it's important to have those people around you to make up for that. Okay. Really important. So let's go to the power. Oh, aloof judgment. Oh, I talked about that. Yeah. Let's go to the power. So the power is the most intuitive energy, whereas the banker energy we just talked about is the most practical energy and safe energy and weight conserving energy. So they're very much the opposites. Builder and bankers are the complete opposite people. The power energy is the personal energy invested to make a positive difference. They don't need to know, they feel like they don't need to know all the information. They don't even need to make sure everybody's okay with the decision they're about to make. And they just make a decision. They make a decision, another decision, they're quick. A lot of times, generals of the military will have a high power energy because in battle, what's important? You have to make a quick decision, intuitively knowing what to do without all the perfect information. The president of the United States is going to have a good amount of power energy to make quick, effective decisions because sometimes there's no time. If there's something happening in some part of the country and we have our troops there, we have to look at intel, but also if you wait too long, you might have casualties. Okay, so really, really important energy for people in positions that have to make quick decisions. Now, this is a lot of times in our world, and it's even red, right? Lynn made the box red and power, is that we can think of a negative power, which is those people are so pushy. These people make other people do what they don't want to do. These people rub me the wrong way. These people are forceful, get angry. And although all of that is true in their negative conflict strategy, in their pure sense of power, none of that's true, actually. If somebody's a refined power person and they stay in the presence of power, it can be just a very positive contribution to society. But it is true that in the negative, if faith doesn't exist, the faith of I know what to do and I know what to do next. Because here's what a power person will do is I know what to do and they'll do it. And if it doesn't work, they'll try again, a slightly different way or same way. Doesn't work. They'll try again. Doesn't work. What is starting to decrease? Their faith that I know what to do. And when their faith that I know what to do decreases, they can go in their conflict strategy of intimidation. So if you've ever seen somebody get really angry and yelling, of course, all the core value types can do that. But a power person is the most overt. It's the most damaging to relationships in the conflict strategy. Now, it is equally bad in all the core value types in the negative strategy. But it's more overt when you go from builder, and then merchant's the second most overt, meaning it's obvious when they're negative conflict strategy. And then wisdom is the third most. They're pretty clever. They can hide it and still seem positive even though they're not. And the bankers, you won't even notice. They'll just stop contributing, but they're just as angry as the power person that's yelling. And it's just as destructive because without the banker's contribution of the right facts, they'll withhold the facts just to let everybody fail, actually. So if they withhold those facts and everybody fails, it's just as bad as a builder yelling in a meeting at everybody. So it's really important. Now, there's a truth that all the other core value types are the most wary of the power energy. So I used to run a division meeting, and I would usually give the wrap-up message. However, in my last few years, I started delegating that more to give up more people opportunity. But I loved giving those wrap-up messages, and I felt like I could move the whole organization. But as I was learning about this, one of the things I learned about myself is there was only certain core value types that really loved my message, and it really had an impact on them. And there were certain core value types where I didn't honor them in my message, and they would just leave. And I could tell because afterwards I'd go to the front door and greet people as they leave, and I'd have people around me asking me questions and really into it. But who were those people? They were merchants, builders, and some wisdom people. But you know who wouldn't stay around and want more information from me is the bankers. And it's because I didn't I used to be not as accurate with my facts. There was a time where I would say a statistic that maybe I just thought of at the moment, and it wouldn't be 100% accurate. And so I've learned that accuracy in everything I say matters to certain people. And I was never trying to be inaccurate, except you know how when you're talking and you're going, sometimes an intuitive person, a builder, merchant builder, will just say things, and even though they didn't mean to be inaccurate. Even misspellings, things like that would throw off in my handouts or anything like that if there was a misspelling, punctuation problems. Whereas as a builder, if I'm in a hurry and I just need to get the document done, I might miss a comma. I've learned not to miss a comma, to have people proof my stuff because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to not attract the whole group of people because they think I'm not smart or something like that. And it's not that I'm not smart, it's just that I don't value at the time. I didn't value that every comma was perfect. But I should, because some people value that. And so what's amazing about this is you can start to attract. Now, when every district manager and all my leaders started adopting this and understanding, everybody became more accurate. Everybody started caring about things they used to not care about because they didn't want to lose somebody's attention and they wanted to maximize their influence. And so this is really, really powerful to do that. Whereas a power person will just get the document done and spit it out. They should get it done earlier, have someone proofread it, make sure it's perfect so everybody loves it. I know that sounds like such a small thing, but it really is a big thing. And it's a big thing to customers too. If they catch a typo in some document you're using or things like some leaving piece you leave them with, they might not trust you. Yeah, I know it sounds weird to certain core value types, but it's actually true. Okay, so the power catalyzed by faith, if that disappears, they start intimidating, and contributions to teams is taking action, results, getting things done. They have an unbelievable ability just to get things done. if you're not a power person, you're like, how do they do so much? How do they just get on the phone and make so many phone calls? That's the person that's just like nonstop, doesn't get distracted. But the merchant salesperson is like, oh, I'll make a few phone calls and then what's going on Instagram? And they scroll through, because what do they care about? They care about relationships, okay? So they're looking at their Instagram and the Snapchat or whatever, and then they're like, oh man, it's been an hour. I gotta get this done. And they go back to it and they force themselves to get some more things done, and then distracted, right? And then all these things, okay? Whereas a power person is so annoying. It's like a Tony Carlson. Okay. I trained, Tony came to me, if you know Tony Carlson, he came to me I got to tell you the story. Make sure you tell him I told all of you. Okay. It's on a recording. This is great. So when Tony Carlson came to my office, he was 17 years old, and he comes in, I was a new district manager, and he comes in and goes, I want to be part of this team. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You're part of the Vancouver team over there. He goes, yeah, I don't want to work there. It didn't go well. Well, evidently he flipped his manager off and left while she was running training or something. Okay. And I said, that's not okay, first of all. And you need to go repair that relationship. And I say this because I admire Tony and I think he's great and he's grown so much. But what was really interesting about it is my first team meeting, opening my district office, I had 4 returning reps sitting in front of me. This is the beginning of the Portland district, eventually came the NORPAC division and everything. And what happened was I pulled him aside, and I didn't know the core value index then, but Tony has strong builder in him. And I pulled him aside and I said, because in the team meeting, he sat in the back. So I had 4 people up front. He came in late and he sat like 10 feet in the back. And he was like sprawled out like this and just lounging, hanging out, not paying attention to me. And I was like riveting. I was setting the culture for the organization. I'm breathing fire. And usually people listen to me when I speak, right? And here he is not respecting the meeting. So I pull him. He was at 90 grand in career sales at the time. Wouldn't that be amazing just to get a free rep at 90 grand in career sales back then? This is 1999. Okay. And so I pull him aside and I say, Tony, I could care less about your sales. If you ever sit in my meeting like that again, you can't be part of this team. And he just he listened. And right at that very moment, we forged a lifelong relationship. And for some of you, you're like, why would you do that? That's so counterintuitive. You want to keep that rep. Wouldn't you be softer and talk to him in a nice way? You know what? One way to talk to builders, to power people, is you have to meet their power. You have to meet them where they're at. I didn't know this then, but intuitively understood. This guy I don't want this guy, because I'm creating a culture. I could care less about his 2-3 grand of sales a week or whatever. Eventually he sold him tons, right? So, but that forged a powerful relationship to where, I've been part of his life in a lot of different meaningful ways. Even today. And so I think that it's really important to understand the core values and honor those core values first in other people, and you have a breakthrough. So Jason, I have a few more things, but how are we doing on time for you guys?
You got all the time you need. We love it. So great.
Okay, cool. Okay, good. So here's the thing. You have to know your score. Who knows their CVI score in the room? Anybody?
We all do.
Okay, the person is that Keith right in front of me? What's your name? The new Dom. Ethan.
No, that's Josh.
Is this Ethan?
No,
Josh.
Josh, what? Give me your numbers. Since you're right in front of me, that's why I'm picking you. So, what are your numbers, Josh?
Builder merchant.
You know what the numbers are?
Like percentage-wise? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know the numbers.
Oh, who knows their numbers? Okay, who just raised their hand right there on the video?
Casey?
Okay, I can't hear you, but tell me, unmute and tell me what your numbers are.
58%.
I didn't realize I was muted.
Oh, no, Nick.
It's yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
20 builder, 20 banker, 22 innovator, and 10 merchant.
And then what was the banker?
20.
Okay, we're going to talk about you in a second.
22, 10.
So they're all around 20, or all four of them real close to 20?
Except for the merchant. So it's 20 banker, 20 builder, 20 banker, 22 innovator, and then 10 merchant.
Okay, got it. I'm going to talk about you in a second because you're unique in a good way, not a bad way, a good way. But I'm going to talk about you in a second. Who else has numbers? Anybody else have one where they're high in like one and then second they're lower?
Pay for the numbers. Yeah, you don't just get the numbers.
I definitely
We don't have the numbers.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. We'll use you, Nick. So Nick, so here's the deal. So your first one was that 22 wisdom is your first one?
Yeah.
Okay, and your lowest is merchant, and then your next one is 2 at 20, right? You got builder and
Banker.
banker at 20. So the challenge Nick is going to have, well, first of all, you always look at what your top one is. So when you guys get your numbers, you got to get your numbers. But when you get your numbers, look at the number of your top one first. So that's where I'm going to start, which is 22 wisdom. So his dominant core value is wisdom. So that's a quieter energy. So he's going to stay quiet, but he's also going to take massive action because what is it supported by? Builder, 20 points. But he also has equal banker. So there's going to be many times, I don't know you, Nick, but just from looking at your score, there's going to be many times where you're like, I know what to do. Wait a minute. No, I need to get more information. Wait a minute. I need to find a better way to do this. And it sometimes will potentially slow you down from taking concerted action. Okay. But what's amazing about it is you can easily, this is a really positive thing, you can easily move and relate to people within all three of those core values because they're very close together. Now, so the second key is know your top one and then know what the distance is from your top one to your next one. So he's 2 points of difference. So even though it's only 2 points, each point is a magnitude of difference, meaning it's not just a point, but every point difference you are from one core value to another is a massive difference and creates an order of magnitude difficulty in shifting to your next core value. So he's definitely dominant in wisdom, and he's got two core values that back it up. And so he stays there, and then he can move to the builder or the innovator. But the problem might be, and I'm just guessing, Nick, and I hope you don't mind me doing this, but the problem might be is that you might confuse people sometimes. Because you're close in those three, it could be easy to move between those three, even mid-conversation with people. And remember, success in anything has to do with staying in a core value long enough to be able to be successful with something. Okay? Now, the lowest one for you is the merchant. So what probably happens is you probably have a feeling inside that people talk too much sometimes. And why do they just talk and say all these foolish things? You know, they just need to like learn the right way to do it, and they need to do it instead of talking about doing it. There's all this talking, okay? Why does everybody have to talk so much? And it's foolish. If they just listen to me, I know the way. I know the way. I'm Nick, okay? So they should listen to me, and everything, the world would be better.
It's like he knows it.
So is any of that true, Nick?
A little bit. That's why.
So there you go.
I'm doing to tell people to stop talking and listen.
And they should listen to you. But also, you're not always right. And the challenge of a wisdom person is they think they're right, and sometimes they're wrong. And when they think they're right and they're wrong, it creates a problem for everybody. So there's good and bad with everybody's core value nature, and it's really important to understand that. And so what you're dominant in is what you gravitate towards. It's what you love the best. The merchant energy, if I were coaching you, Nick, I would say, Nick, definitely learn who you are, but you need to fall in love with that merchant energy, because that merchant energy is a lot of your customers, and you want to learn all about that. And that's going to be really important. So it's really important to learn about that. So honor first the core value nature in somebody else. Now, there's a wired in life challenge. It's more advanced. We're not going to go deep into it, but I just want to plant a seed with you guys out there that there is an absolute breakthrough in results if you do this. Okay. Peter Voog, some of you may have heard that name before. He was one of my district managers, and he is a 25 builder merchant, and then his third one is a 14 innovator. And the first thing I work with him on is staying in one core value long enough to be effective, because when you're tied with two, you switch back and forth too easy. And remember, leadership happens when you stay the course. So 1 minute somebody like that would be yelling at the receptionist, the next minute they're getting her a gift card from Starbucks. Okay, so it's like two different things happening. It's confusing. Okay, so so that was the first thing. The second thing we worked on, I don't think he'll mind mentioning this because he totally used this to optimize himself, is we worked on his ability to get from the 25 down to the 14. How many orders? So an order of magnitude, every 3 points actually is an order of magnitude difference from your top core value to the next one. So how many orders of magnitude is it from 25 to 14? It's quite a few. And so really, really difficult. A very small percentage of who he is that wisdom. But we worked on it through coaching, and he got to that wisdom energy at the right time with people, and that caused him to listen, consider others, to formulate ideas, to be creative in his speech giving, and come up with better preparation. All of these kinds of things created a breakthrough for him. And he was, him and John Bedford were the first $1 million offices besides my pilot in the NORPAC division because of those things. And he went on to write book and, do all kinds of stuff. So I think that this is really powerful, you guys. I encourage you. So steps for you guys: get your score. Look at what you're top in. Look at the order magnitude from your top one to your next one. Learn about the one you're least in, not because you're going to try and use that. Anything below, by the way, any score below 11, you're never going to use. It's an important part of who you are, but you're not going to be able to use it. So don't try to get there. But anything above 11 or 12, you can get to. And so it's a process of learning who you are in your top one and second one, and then going. Now, a really important thing too is if your core value is not working, whatever you're top in, your core value is not working, you need to shift when you start getting anxious to your next highest core value, whatever that is. That'll keep you from getting in your negative conflict strategy and destroying relationships, destroying the sale, hurting development, whatever the case may be. So that's really important. Be aware though, we're all warped away from operating purely in the way God made us. And the way we are warped is by our parents. Whether you had great parents or not, we're all warped away from being who we are, because we all as kids want to get maximum love from our parents, whether they're great parents or not. We're wired to want that. And our parents have different core values than us. Their CVI would be different. Everybody's different. And so they show their kids the most love naturally when they display the core value nature of themselves. And so what do kids do then? Even if they're first in this one over here, if mom gives me more love when I'm this one, then I operate more out of this one, even though it's not my first one. And this creates all kinds of problems in your life. And so it's important to understand where you've been warped away from how you purely were made. And this is the best. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but it is the best assessment at discovering how you actually were made versus how you're acting in society. So any last thoughts, questions?
So good. Any questions? People on the floor?
I remember what it was.
Well, how to tell if
what
someone's
was-
being an innovator.
Oh, the innovator is sabotaging somebody else's idea or something like that. What would be an example of that?
Well, they're sitting in a meeting and everybody's talking, and they came prepared, with a great solution. They give their great idea, and the leader of the meeting kind of dismisses it, or the group dismisses it. And then they start later coming up with different ideas, different than the innovator's ideas. And then he starts an arsenal of inquisitive reasons why it won't work. Everybody else's ideas, and everybody will believe it because they're so smart.
What's
So you see why meetings never go anywhere. Yeah.
Is there a way for a manager who's first meeting an applicant or a Cutco sales professional who's meeting someone at a fair and show real quick to kind of have some quick tells that maybe we can analyze more to see what personnel or what CVI score they potentially are?
So a banker would never have a beard like mine, for example. Okay, if they had a beard, it would be really well groomed. And today I didn't groom it perfectly. Sorry, it's a little scraggly. They would never go on camera with a little bit of scraggly beard. Okay, they would have made sure it was just dialed in. All right. They would have never had in the background a chalkboard with the edge, a little bit messed up. They would have made sure they were a little bit higher, and it was just like something perfect like that. Okay, so it's like, but me being a power person, I'm like, I'm gonna deliver regardless of what my background looks like. Now, if I was honoring banker energy, and I'm still working on this, I would have still made sure it was like this. And then I would have erased that because you can't see what it is and it's distracting. And I would have wrote CVI workshop on it. So I had to do with the meeting. Okay, so another thing, if you're just meeting somebody, okay, here's some things. A power person's let's talk about handshakes real quick. Okay, so a power person will squeeze hard. They'll give you a really firm handshake, look you in the eyes, even a little intimidating, especially if you're not a power person. Okay, the wisdom person will they'll shake your hand it'll be a little bit soft, and but it'll be okay. And they'll look at you in the eyes, maybe look down. Their eyes might shift around a little bit. Okay, so they're kind of shifty. And so some people don't trust wisdom people just because they're naturally shifty. The merchant person will do a double hand. They'll shake. They'll put another side hand on the arm. They'll do a little side hug. They'll be warm. They'll be really like smiley. Those kinds of things. Okay. The banker is very appropriate. Perhaps the softer shake, and won't hang on too long. They're going to bail pretty quick on the handshake. Whereas a power person might stay on. They might even do the side, control. You see that with President Trump. He controls other leaders' handshakes. Okay, so he'll grab it. It's in the news all the time. You grab it and he'll move it, and those kinds of things. And that's a power person. So it's really telling on the handshake. It's telling in how they dress. A wisdom person might have more piercings, tats. A wisdom merchant. By the way, I have to say this real quick. So little time that I couldn't tell you everything, but we're not just one thing, are we? We're an accumulation of all these things. And so it's really important to understand a merchant innovator second is much different than a merchant builder. A merchant banker is much different than a merchant. Yeah, there you go. So you get the idea. The top two together makes a type. Okay, so we are just isolating a little bit simple, but it is helpful to understand the dominant core values. So other things, so we talked about eye contact, handshake, dress. Okay, so in dress, banker is going to be the most appropriate. Nothing's going to be disheveled. Their wardrobe is going to be perfect. Those kinds of things, very appropriate. Whereas the power person, may not care how they look. They're just gonna people are gonna accept me because I'm me. And then the merchant's gonna be maybe more colorful. They're willing to be risky with color in their dress, and then the wisdom might be The wisdom might be, creative. Think creative, like layers and weird stuff, and colored socks, and merchants can do that too, though. So so there's some dress stuff there. So I think the nonverbals, though, too, is how they talk. Builders will interrupt. You'll be saying something at the booth, and the husband will go, "Yeah, but what about this?" Like, and you didn't even finish your sentence. Ooh, there's a power person. Okay. And I don't know, that's a lot. Yeah, not everybody can afford it. You just sold a power person. What does a power person not want to be is weak. So if they just said, "Oh, that's a lot of money," yeah, not everybody can afford it.
Like, this just changed.
Well, I can afford it.
Here comes that rolling.
See how powerful that is? But if you said the same, if a banker said, "Well, it's a lot," yeah, not everybody can afford it. They are leaving as fast as they possibly can from your booth. You say, "You know what? That's a good statement you made, but let me share some facts with you." Because they need all the facts before they buy something. A merchant, what does merchant care? They just care that it looks bling on my counter. For hospitality. Okay, what does a wisdom person care about? Oh, they care about like those nickel silver rivets, and they care about the ergonomic design, and it fits perfectly in the handle. They care about all that stuff. A merchant person just cares about, when you're doing hospitality, you want to be able to look people in the eyes while you're having to finish that food prep. It's all relational. You want to have things that match, and you want to create the home where everybody wants to come. Cutco makes cooking easier, so it's quicker, so you can get back to those relationships.
Wow.
Is that helpful?
Very.
Yeah.
I need to have a follow-up call with you, Isaac.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. If you guys master this, you will be wizards in a good way.
What are some recommendations, Isaac, as closing? Because I know we have extra time, but I know you're the family of a lot. Business is growing. But do you what are some recommendations for resources after this call here that you'd recommend people look into, and you recommend they do to dive more into CVI?
First thing is talk to Jason about getting your full score. That's important. And then I emailed you the matrix. You can give that to everybody. And trying to think what the best resource is for you guys. I will look for, I made a cheat sheet for vector people, and I haven't been able to find it. But if I can find that, that's really powerful, because I understand the vector world, which is you need a quick reference guide, and you're not going to read everything. There's a lot of merchant energy in Cutco, and they don't want to read very much. And so if you can just have that quick reference guide, that would be powerful, right? That'd be helpful. So I will look for it again, but no guarantees on that. I will look for it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, Isaac. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, great to be here with you guys. And I just want to say that you guys have an incredible leader in Jason. He absolutely is the future of the company. And he has his eyes not only set on doing big things, but the appropriate process and way to get there so that most people are impacted and helped in a good way. And I just really value that in somebody. And so I would stay on this journey as long as you possibly can, because together you guys can break open some really new possibilities for the company with all of your leadership. So really, really great to be here. Appreciate you all. Feel free to connect with me on social. I'm Isaac Tolpin everywhere, Resolute Man on Instagram, and happy to do that. All right?
Oh, Thanks, Isaac.
Thanks, Isaac.
Appreciate it, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Take care.
Yeah, talk to you tomorrow.
Take care, guys.
All right. Bye.
See you later.